we'd love to hear your take on agentic commerce. It's going to be a big theme at the Safeguard event in May as well. We're going to be talking about how does identity play a role within an agentic world, and agentic commerce is right at the top of that list. So how do you think this is going to kind of play out with agentic commerce? How do you think agents are going to be involved in our purchasing decisions?
Yeah, it's going to be massive. There's no doubt about that. And I think it's just, you have a world of 8 billion people and everybody's going to find unique ways to accomplish the things that they're accomplishing. So today, traditionally, right, people do go to these sites. And I think that, Walmart specifically sits in this very unique intersection of, 4,600 plus stores in the real world, providing value to customers. And then you got the digital presence and ultimately optimizing the shopping experience there. So there's no doubt about it that it's going to play a major impact of the way people will consume content and then interact with it and then shop with it. As simple as I'm watching an Instagram video. I like the book that they're talking about. I can click on that right there in that experience and buy. You know, how do I think companies evolve? Remains to be seen, in the macro space. I would be I still have a big belief that the best in the world, like in retail and e-commerce, are not going to let this, slip away from them, right? Because ultimately, when you look at e-commerce, like, and just shopping in general, like the supply chain is a massive component of all of this. Like, easy to build an interface to click to buy something, very difficult to handle the last mile delivery. And so, where I work and the other great companies in this space, I think tend to get the benefit of that infrastructure is very hard to replicate. So I'm excited to see like where it goes, and how people are playing with it today. As I'll humbly say, it remains to be seen, like, where it, takes itself, like where people move away from, say, shopping on the United website because I can just do it in ChatGPT. Because ultimately every brand respectfully wants their customers back in their ecosystem. And so finding that sweet spot between how both sides balance each other out will be unique.
Yeah, I think I'm really curious about the folks that are building ChatGPT apps, which were just announced. I'm curious, are they going to try and just offer up all of their functionality and, the ability to buy anything from their site into ChatGPT, or are they going to try and focus on using ChatGPT as another lead source for potentially buying something from their site, right? Like, for example, maybe you could purchase in one category of goods or purchase with less flexibility. But if you were to come to their site, which is where they're ultimately trying to draw you to, you'd be able to get further discounts, other promotions, see more of their inventory. So I'm very curious if they're going to use ChatGPT as a lead gen source, because I know folks that are building, for example, like software or product for product teams, they're trying to make sure that they're ranking in all of these LLMs is pretty high. So if somebody's searching for like the best way to de-identify website visitors coming to your site, like there's tons of companies that are competing to make sure that like we're the company that gets listed as the best visitor identification tool. So that's more to like eventually draw people to your software. But when it comes to e-commerce and you can start buying right in the chat, what do you offer up? Do you offer up everything, or do you try and use it as a lead generation source? So definitely curious about that.